two Singapore residents are now in isolation, not because they are sick, but because of where they have been. Both men were on a remote expedition cruise ship that has since been linked to multiple hantavirus cases, including deaths. Here's what we know so far. The two individuals, aged 67 and 65, were passengers on the MV Hantavirus, a vessel that departed from Ushuaia in Argentina on April 1st with just over 100 guests on board. About 10 days into the journey, a 70-year-old Dutch passenger died on the ship. At that point, the cause was unclear, but things escalated quickly after that. By late April, another passenger, the man's wife, also fell ill and died. Around the same time, a British passenger became seriously sick and had to be evacuated to South Africa. He was later confirmed to have Hantavirus. Then, on May 2nd, another death occurred on board. The cause is still under investigation. Now, here's where Singapore enters the picture. The two Singapore residents had already disembarked earlier and boarded a flight from St. Helena to Johannesburg on April 25th. That same flight carried a confirmed hantavirus case, who later passed away in South Africa. Both men have since returned to Singapore and are now isolated at the National Center for Infectious Diseases, with test results still pending. One has mild symptoms. The other has none. At this point, authorities say the risk to the public is low. But here's what makes this case more complex than it looks. Hantavirus is typically not spread from person to person. It usually comes from rodents through contaminated dust or droppings. However, there is a rare strain known as the Andes virus that can spread between humans. And right now, that possibility has not been fully ruled out. This is why even asymptomatic individuals are being monitored closely for up to 45 days after exposure. So what does this mean for everyday people? If you travel, especially to remote or nature-heavy regions, exposure risk may not come from people, but from the environment itself. Something as simple as inhaling contaminated particles can lead to infection. In a global travel system, where people move across continents within hours, a case that starts in South America can quickly reach Asia without anyone realizing. And that raises a bigger question. Are current travel screening measures enough? When some diseases don't show symptoms immediately or spread in less obvious ways. We've seen similar patterns before where initial cases seem contained until they're not. This incident may not turn into a large outbreak, but it highlights how unpredictable cross-border health risks can be. So here's something worth thinking about. When it comes to rare diseases like this, should monitoring focus more on travel history rather than symptoms alone? Like, share and subscribe to 2230.